Hello, everyone, and welcome to HBCU Game Day. I am Symone Stanley, today joined by Jordan Ighofose. He is a Grambling State University offensive lineman and also a 2022 NFL draft prospect. Jordan, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So, Jordan, first of all, the first thing I see when I click on your Twitter page is Big Ham the Bully. Where did that nickname come from?
So honestly, I got the nickname Big Ham in my junior college days. I was going to junior college in northeastern Oklahoma, A&M. It's in Miami, Oklahoma. And the funny thing is, I had a teammate named Forrest Merrill. And right now he plays for the Chargers, but he was like, me and him were like the two strongest people on the team. But Forrest was white, I was black. So they said I was the Black Forest, and then they started calling Black Forest Ham, and then it got short to Ham, and then I kind of made it my own over the years, and it just stuck. So I've been Big Ham ever since.
So it just kept evolving.
Yeah, basically just kind of evolved into his own thing.
That's awesome. So you talked about your collegiate football career starting off in junior college. What was that experience like for you?
Well, actually, it started at a NAIA school that became a Division II school at Davenport University in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That was my only offer out of high school due to like grade issues. So I went there and things didn't work out. And then I didn't know much about junior college. So I just did my research in like the span of like a month or two. And I just put practice clips together and emailed a bunch of coaches and ended up getting a call to go out to Oklahoma. And I didn't know anything about junior college. I had never been to Oklahoma before, and I threw everything in my car. And I just drove 12 hours from Detroit to Oklahoma, and the rest is history. It worked out. I mean, I don't know if you see right there, I ended up going all conference at my junior college, and I met a lot of great people there. And it was just, in junior college, I learned a lot, basically. That's where I really matured at as a man and as a student and as a player. Like, that's where I finally buckled down and got my grades right. I graduated this past December, and if it wasn't for NEO, I never would have got right academically. So just being in that predicament is what made me really like buckle up and settle down and focus. So it was a great experience.
That's amazing. The dedication. So when you talk about you packed up and just went there, that was your only offer. How did you know that football was what you wanted to do long-term, that you would take such a leap of faith like that?
So football, honestly, I say it all the time. Football saved my life, like, because I have a close-knit friend group that I grew up in Detroit with, and we all played football together, but I just know it was certain times where all of our grades were kind of slipping a little bit, just because my grades were kind of bad in high school because my mom was back and forth between Nigeria and United States. She was battling breast cancer. So I was kind of raising myself in high school. I didn't really have a lot of guidance. So I just did whatever I wanted to do. So my grades kind of slipped. My friends' grades slipped too because we were always hanging out. But football is what I never missed a football season. That's the difference. And that small difference, like one of my friends was ineligible our sophomore year. One of my other friends was ineligible our junior year. And just that small difference of me never wanted to miss a football season and making sure, all right, I know this GPA counts for football season. I got to have good grades this semester, is the small thing that I graduated high school and they didn't. Those are still my friends at the end of the day. But I was the only one that graduated high school, let alone went to college. So that's why I just feel like football really saved my life. Like growing up, it was just something I just wanted to do it. Like I just loved it. It was the only time I really was having fun. My parents are Nigerian immigrants, so my dad wanted me to play soccer or basketball. My mom didn't really know much about football, but I was just always drawn to it, even as a kid. And then lo and behold, as I started becoming a teenager, I started growing into a football body. So I just started thinking like, all right, this is something I'm probably really meant to do.
Wow, that's awesome that you had that outlet. That's really a blessing that you had football as an outlet. So when did Grambling State come into the picture? You said you were an award winner at JUCO. You obviously excelled on that level. So how did you end up at Grambling State?
The O-line coach that came and recruited me was Coach Reginald Nelson at the time at Grambling. He was the offensive line coach. And he hit me up on Twitter while I was in junior college. So I had to graduate because I was going to qualify out of high school. So I was at junior college. My season was over. I was just there for the last semester to graduate. And he hit me up on Twitter, came out to Oklahoma to see me a couple of times. and then they flew me out for a visit. I actually didn't get the offer until I was on my visit. And going to an HBCU was something I kind of always wanted to do because we don't have many of them. Like being from Detroit, I didn't hear much about it, but I heard a little. But from the little research I did on my own about HBCUs, I was like, all right, that's something I think I want to do. So when Grambling offered, they were really one of the only HBCUs that had interest in me. Morehouse had interest in me as well, but they didn't want to offer me because they didn't think I was going to. They didn't think I was going to come because they're like, we know you're going to get a Division I offer, and Morehouse is Division II. So he was telling me, but I was telling him like, I want to go to HBCU so bad that I was telling him like, if you offer and a major like Power 5 doesn't offer, I might come to Morehouse over a FCS school or something like that. But they didn't take the shot. So Grambling took the shot, took the chance on me, and they flew me out. And I just went on my visit, and it was just a family atmosphere and all the history, like seeing the Eddie G. Robinson Museum and just seeing all the history and knowing all the greats that came from here. I committed on the spot. So I've been here ever since.
That's awesome. Yeah, like you said, there's not many HBCU representation up north, and especially in that area, like you said, in Michigan and Detroit. So it's great that you were on their radar. You must have been making a big splash.
Yeah. Now it was actually funny because in junior college, I didn't even start till week 4 because somebody got hurt. Then I ended up, once I got my chance, I ran with it.
Next man up.
Ended up all conference and making a lot of noise. So it was a good experience.
That's awesome. So how do you think Grambling State prepared you for the NFL level?
I feel like I was prepared very well here. Like I said, the original offensive line coach I had was Coach Reginald Nelson, and he coached Trenton Scott, who's on the Panthers, and he also coached David Moore, who's on the Browns. So we have the history of building offensive linemen here. And this past season, my offensive line coach, Coach Brian Ross, came in. He went back to University of Lafayette now, but he was actually, I feel like he taught me a lot too and helped me elevate my game even a little bit more. So just from the combination of being coached by those two coaches, I feel like I was prepared very well. I feel like I was prepared on the same level as any other top offensive line prospect.
So we both know the offensive line is the most important position in football, especially last night. I don't know if you saw, Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times, you know.
Yeah, no, the offensive line for me was stressed watching that.
Right. So knowing that, and especially in draft time where people are getting their offensive linemen of the future, those pieces that they can build around for the next 10, 12 years now, what makes you stand out as a lineman prospect in this draft?
So I feel like I stand out both physically and mentally because I know a lot of people are very strong in the weight room and they can lift a lot of weight. Well, I can do that too, but my strength translates to the field. I play with a lot of power. I play with a lot of aggression. I play with a lot of energy. And when I put my hands on people, they go where I want them to go. So I'm very confident that my strength to translate to the next level. And then mentally, I just feel like I'm a smart football player and I'm very willing to learn. I know all my coaches tell you I'm easy to coach. I'm willing to get to the next level and play right guard, left guard, center, anything I need to do to make it. And I know learning the playbook wouldn't be too hard for me as well. So I just feel physically and mentally I can bring a lot to a team.
The versatility.
Yes, ma'am.
I like that. So what's the day-to-day grind like for somebody like yourself preparing for the showcases that you have coming up? I think you recently were at a showcase or a bowl game, and someone preparing for the NFL draft overall. Like, what's your day-to-day routine?
So day-to-day right now, I've been getting personal training from Coach Ed Jackson. He's a legend in the Northern Louisiana area. He's coached NFL talent from this area for the last 30 years. He's a legend over at Louisiana Tech. So I wake up every day about 8:30. I get a protein shake in, make a bottle of amino acids to take to my training sessions with him. I work out with him for about an hour and a half every morning, and we work on different stuff from 40 starts and 3-cone drill, L drill, agility, a lot of flexibility, agility. And we also do like cardio lifting because I got a strong bench press, but I'm trying to get my muscle stamina up so I can get as many reps at 225 as I could possibly get. So we just do a lot of that stuff, a lot of combine prep. And then we also do a lot of position work a little bit at the end there. And so I get done with him about like 10:30. So then I'll come home. I'll have a meal prep company that I work with out here. So I'll warm up my lunch for the day, probably drink another protein shake. and then I'll relax. I'll stretch. I stretch every day at noon, and then I'll probably hop in the shower, relax, and then I'll probably hit the field with some of my teammates that still go to Grambling around like 3 or 4 o'clock just to get some snaps and extra footwork and stuff in.
So rise and grind.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, every day.
So are you making those protein shakes or are those pre-made?
So I'm working with Flex Fit Cafe in Ruston, and she makes my meal preps for the week. So I get 3 meals a day for 6 days out the week, and then the Sundays I'm on my own. And it came the package I bought came with like a protein powder and stuff like that. So I just put it in the shaker cup, shake it up, and go.
Okay, I like that. So what part of your game do you think will translate the easiest from the collegiate level right to an NFL pro?
Honestly, I want to say my pass protection, because that's something I'm really good at. I've always been really good in pass protection, and I feel like I know it's definitely going to be better pass rushers in the NFL, and they're going to be more athletic, faster, stronger. But I feel like if I can train at the same level they train at on a daily basis, I can get to that level by the time I get there, and so on from there. But I feel like I definitely think my pass rush is one of my strong suits.
I like that mentality. So what do you think would be the biggest adjustment that you'll have to make, whether it's on field adjustment or even off the field adjustment you'll have to make going from Grambling State to the NFL?
I feel like on the field, what I'll probably have to, the biggest adjustment will probably be communication. Because a lot of times here at Grambling, me and my teammates, we know each other so well, or we're so close off the field. Like, we're in college, so we're together all day, every day, even off the field. So sometimes we go out there and we don't necessarily have to talk as much because we kind of know how each other play and know what's going on. So I definitely feel like communication at the next level, making all the calls and being vocal and not just expecting the guy next to me to know what I'm thinking. Because even though we're teammates, we're not, everybody goes home at the end of the NFL day. Here, we still are around each other all day, 24/7, watching extra film, stuff like that. So definitely communication is a big thing on the field. I feel like I'm very vocal, but I can be more vocal. Sometimes I expect my teammates to know what I'm thinking, and that's not something I could do at the next level. So that's one part. And then off the field, I would think just maintaining the lifestyle, basically, like, because I don't have class anymore. I'm a professional athlete. Like, just maintaining my eating habits and my lifestyle when I'm off the field would probably be the biggest adjustment there. But I feel like I can handle it because, like I said, I raised myself throughout high school. I went away to college, never looked back, and I've been alone for a long time. So I feel like I can handle it. It's going to be the same, just with more money. So
Exactly. You can handle it. Big Ham got this. But I love that answer. I didn't even think about that when you talk about the communication, because, you're in college, you're submersed around your teammates all the time. And then going to the NFL, you're going to have 52 new teammates, practice squad teammates, COVID 10-day teammates. Like, it's going to be a lot of new faces.
And the NFL is really plug and play. So I need to be able to play with different people at different positions. So communication is a big part of that.
So I know you said earlier you could play right guard, left guard, center, but what position where do you see yourself lining up and thriving, at least starting out in the NFL?
Preferably, I would prefer to play guard. Left or right really doesn't matter to me. I'm pretty, I can switch sides easily. So my preference would be guard. I feel like at guard I feel like at guard, with it being like my first year in the NFL and stuff like that, me being a rookie, it would be less on my plate, because at center, you have to make all the calls, you have to talk to everyone. And that's something a role I definitely feel like I can grow into with a team. But to start off, I feel I'm a plug and play guy at guard. I feel like I can get in there at guard and contribute to any team immediately.
Definitely. I definitely could understand that. So, this time people are going to be combing through your scout reports. They try to put everything on paper, even though they haven't seen everything on film. So what part of your game do you think is not getting enough respect right now? What part of your game do you think is underrated?
Honestly, everything, my whole, just a lot of it. I don't regret the path I chose. I took the long route, but I'm here now, and I learned a lot and met a lot of people on the way. But a lot of it is my fault. Like, coming out of high school, we were the number 1 team in the state, first team in Michigan history to start the season, preseason ranked number 1 and finish number 1 undefeated.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was offensive lineman of the year, but I didn't have the grade. So I didn't have any stars, no offers, no nothing. When I went to junior college, I got all conference, but I still wasn't highly recruited out of junior college. I got to Grambling. I've been kind of flying under the radar here. We haven't had the best winning season, so I didn't get any accolades at Grambling. So I feel like me in general, I'm just overall underrated. And I've always known I could play, but it kind of adds to who I am as a person because I'm really humble because my whole playing career, I've known I was good, but I've never had like the articles being written about me, the reporters pressed to talk to me, or everybody just blowing smoke telling me how great I am. So I've always had to work to be recognized. So now that I'm getting in front of NFL scouts and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback and they're telling me like, okay, like, wow, like where'd this kid come from? It's kind of like a blessing to me and crazy to me that I'm finally getting a little recognition. So I just feel like I'm underrated as a whole, as a person. But I know I could play, and I know when I get in front of people and show them what I can do, they'll be impressed.
I love that. I love that for sure. Definitely can't wait to see what you have coming up. I'm super excited. I love your story, and I love the mindset, the rise and grind, dog mentality. Show it, don't tell it mentality.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So lastly, let me ask you, do you have any NFL comparisons, or is there any guys right now in the pros you like watching or kind of studying their game, taking pieces from?
So really, normally I like to watch Quentin Nelson a lot. I like his game. I like the aggressiveness and his IQ on the field. I like the way he plays the game. But recently I've been trying to study centers a little bit because I know I might have to make that transition with me being only 6'3" and stuff like that. So I've been watching Creed Humphrey. He plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I've actually been following him since he was at Oklahoma. Because when I was in Oklahoma and playing junior college football, he was at Oklahoma at the same time, and I knew a couple of linemen that trained with him. They're like, "Oh yeah, Creed Humphrey's legit." So I always kind of knew who he was, but lately I've been kind of watching his game. But Quentin Nelson and Creed Humphrey be two people I watch a lot.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to watch you, Jordan. I really appreciate the conversation. Love the conversation. I'm of course going to be looking out for you and providing people with any updates you have going on, especially after the Legacy Bowl and the draft in April. And like I said, I love your story and your mindset. Can't wait to see what you can do on the next level and see you really grow and shine, especially Gram fam. Y'all been doing it in the NFL level now.
Definitely. So I'm just trying to follow in their footsteps. But thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, guys, I'm Symone Stanley. This is HBCU Game Day, another 2022 NFL Draft conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining us.